When your dog explodes with joy the moment you walk through the door, do you actually know what they're asking for? Most people think they do. The dog missed you. The dog is excited. The dog loves you. Simple as that. But here's the thing. That greeting isn't just happiness, it's something far more specific. Dogs experience a measurable stress response during separation from their primary attachment figure. Their cortisol levels rise. Their nervous system shifts into a low-grade alert state. And when you come back, that reunion triggers an actual biochemical event. Oxytocin floods their system. Cortisol drops. Their heart rate regulates. This is the exact same neurochemical pattern that happens when a human infant reunites with a parent. Your dog isn't just happy to see you. Your dog is using you to stabilize. That greeting ritual, the one you might rush through or try to calm down, is your dog's attempt to regulate its own nervous system. And if you ignore it or suppress it, you are not teaching your dog to be calm. You are cutting off a biological need. So why does this matter? Because most owners think they understand what their dog wants from them. Food, walks, a scratch behind the ears, maybe some playtime. And sure, dogs need those things. But there are 7 specific forms of connection your dog is biologically wired to seek. 7 acts of love they are quietly, constantly requesting. And most owners are accidentally withholding at least 3 of them without ever realizing it. These are not tricks. These are not commands. These are needs your dog cannot explain in any language but behavior. And here is what almost no one talks about. There is one thing dogs seek from their owners more than anything else. One request they make over and over, in ways so subtle that most people never recognize it as a request at all. And when that ask goes unanswered long enough, many dogs will simply stop asking. They will not get angry. They will not act out. They will just go quiet. And that quietness, that so-called good behavior, is not peace. It is withdrawal. We will get to what that ask is by the end. But first, you need to understand the 6 other acts of love your dog has been trying to tell you about. Number 1, let me touch you more than you touch me. Pay attention to how often your dog initiates contact. Not when you call it over, not when you reach out to pet it, but when your dog walks up and places its head on your lap, when it leans its full weight against your legs, when it wedges itself between you and the couch, not because it is cold, but because it wants contact. This is not your dog asking for attention. This is your dog asking you to accept its weight. In wolf packs and feral dog groups, bonding happens through sustained low-level physical contact, not active grooming, not play, just being pressed together. When your dog rests against you, it is saying, "We are together right now." That is the whole message. But most owners misread it. They give the dog a quick pet and move on, or they shift position and break the contact, and the dog has to start over. Watch what happens when you let your dog lean into you and you do not move. Do not pet it. Do not talk to it. Just let it rest there. Notice how long it stays. Notice how its breathing changes. That is not excitement. That is relief. Your dog is not asking you to do something. It is asking you to let it be close. And every time you pull away or redirect its touch into a quick pat on the head, you are answering a question it did not ask. Number 2, include me in your territory patrol. Ever notice your dog follows you when you walk through the house before bed? When you check the locks, turn off the lights, close the windows? Your dog is not being clingy. Your dog is reading that behavior as patrol. Dogs retain denning instincts and territorial monitoring behaviors from their wild ancestry. When you move through the house checking things, your dog interprets that as a security sweep, and it wants to participate. This is a pack behavior. In multi-dog or wolf groups, territory checks are collaborative. No single animal patrols alone. When you lock your dog in another room or tell it to stay while you finish your bedtime routine, you are not teaching boundaries. You are excluding it from a ritual it is biologically driven to share. Watch what happens when you let your dog follow you through the whole routine. Let it walk with you to every door, every window. Let it stand beside you while you check the lock. You will notice something. Your dog does not get more anxious. It gets calmer, because it is not trying to guard the house from you. It is trying to guard the house with you. And when you let it do that, you are answering a need it has carried since before it was domesticated. Number 3, look me in the eyes. For real. When your dog stares at you during a quiet moment, do you know what is actually happening? Most people think the dog wants something. Food maybe, a walk, attention. But here's the thing. Dogs make two kinds of eye contact. One is functional, the other is something else entirely. The functional kind happens during training, during play, when they want you to throw the ball. That is task-oriented eye contact. But there is another kind. Soft, sustained, no agenda. Your dog positions its head in your line of sight, makes gentle eye contact for 3 to 5 seconds, looks away, then comes back. Ever notice that? That is not a question. That is a check-in. And what most people do not realize is this. Mutual gaze between dogs and humans triggers oxytocin release in both species, the same hormone that bonds human mothers to infants, the same feedback loop. This does not happen between wolves and humans, only dogs. Domestication actually selected for this trait. Your dog is not staring at you because it needs something. It is checking the bond. When a dog looks at you like that, it is doing exactly what a toddler does when it looks up at a parent, confirming connection, making sure you are still there, still together, still us. Research in animal cognition found that dogs form attachment styles nearly identical to how human infants attach to caregivers. That soft eye contact is not random, it is chemistry. And when you look back, you are not just being nice. You are completing a biological loop that exists nowhere else in the animal kingdom. Music. If this is making you see your dog differently, hit that like button and subscribe. It helps us reach more dog people who want to understand what their dogs are really saying. Number 4. Let me know the plan. Does your dog show up at the door 5 minutes before walk time? Position itself by the bed right around your usual bedtime? That is not coincidence. Dogs are anticipatory animals. They sync their internal clocks to your routines with accuracy down to 15-minute windows. But here's what most owners miss. Dogs do not just track time, they track cues. When you grab your keys, put on your shoes, start turning off lights, your dog is reading those signals like a forecast. And when those signals suddenly change without warning, your dog experiences a cortisol spike. Stress. Not because the routine changed, because you did not tell them it was going to. Think about what happens when you leave without saying anything. No verbal cue, no heads up, just gone. Your dog does not think. You forgot to say goodbye. Your dog experiences that as a break in communication. You left without saying you were leaving. Research on canine temporal cognition shows that dogs do not just wait passively. They predict, they expect, and when expectations break, anxiety follows. But when you give a verbal cue, even a simple one, something shifts. Let's go. Bedtime. I'll be back. The dog relaxes, not because it understands English, because you signaled a transition. You told it what was coming. Dogs do not want commands. They want forecasting. They want to know the plan. And every time you skip that signal, you are not just being quiet. You are leaving them in the dark. Music. Here's where things shift. The first 4 acts are about connection you can give easily. Touch, inclusion, eye contact, communication. But the next 3 are different. These are about burdens your dog is carrying that you do not see. Things your dog has taken on without being asked. And it is waiting for you to notice. Number 5. Tell me when I am off duty. Does your dog always face the door when it rests? Wake up every time you move? Reposition when you get up even if you are just going to the kitchen? Most people think that is loyalty. Attentiveness, a well-bonded dog. But here's what is really happening. Your dog has assigned itself a job, monitoring you, watching entry points, tracking household movement. This is not trained behavior, this is voluntary. And without explicit permission to stop, most dogs never fully relax. They do not enter deep REM sleep unless you are visibly settled. They startle at small sounds. They maintain line of sight even when lying down. Because they are not resting, they are waiting. Studies on canine resting heart rates show something striking. Dogs exhibit measurably lower heart rates when owners verbally signal rest, settle, all done, relax. Compared to when the owner just sits down without saying anything. Your dog is not being loyal, your dog is being vigilant. And vigilance is exhausting. It will only truly sleep when you release it from watch. When you tell it, you have got this now. Most owners never give that signal, so their dogs never stop working. Music. Number 6. Notice when I have changed my answer. Does your dog hesitate before jumping on the couch when it used to leap up without thinking? Decline a game of fetch it once loved? Greet you more gently than it used to? Most owners see that and think the dog is calming down, getting older, losing interest. But here's the thing. Dogs do not lose interest. They adjust their requests. A dog that stops asking for rough play is not bored. It might be experiencing joint pain. A dog that no longer wants morning walks might need evening walks now because of heat sensitivity. A dog that used to lean its full weight against you but now just rests its head on your leg is not being distant. It is asking for a modified version of the same thing, and it is waiting for you to notice. Dogs do not announce these changes. They quietly shift what they are asking for and hope you pick up on it, but most owners keep offering the old version, roughhousing when the dog needs gentleness, morning walks when the dog needs evening, full body contact when the dog needs space, and the dog stops asking altogether. When a dog stops requesting something it used to love, that is not disinterest. That is a signal. And if you miss it, you miss pain, you miss aging, you miss withdrawal. Your dog is still asking, just differently. Music. Number 7. Let me give you what I need to give you. When your dog brings you a toy for the 10th time in an hour, what do you think it wants? Most people assume the dog wants to play, wants attention, wants you to throw the ball. But here's the thing. Watch what happens when your dog brings you that toy. It does not always want you to throw it. Sometimes it just places it near you and waits. Sits there, watching. That is not a play request. That is an offering. Dogs are wired for contribution. Every breed carries specific drives: retrieving, herding, guarding, tracking sense. These are not party tricks. These are biological needs to perform a function. And the deepest frustration for most dogs is not lack of exercise or affection. It is lack of purpose. When your dog brings you the remote you dropped, it is not being cute. When it positions itself between you and a stranger at the door, it is not being protective in the way you think. When it alerts you to a sound outside, it is not asking you to investigate. It is offering a service. And when you ignore that offering, when you wave it off or say not now, or just take the toy and toss it aside without acknowledgement, you are teaching your dog something it will carry. You are teaching it that its contributions do not matter. Studies on working dog behavior show that dogs exhibit lower stress markers and higher overall well-being when they have task-oriented roles. Not just commands to follow, jobs to do, things to contribute. Your dog does not want to obey you. Your dog wants to be useful to you. And when you refuse that, repeatedly something shifts. The dog stops bringing the toy, stops alerting, stops positioning itself between you and perceived threats. And most owners see that and think, great, the dog finally calmed down. But that is not calm. That is shutdown. The quietest dogs are sometimes the ones whose needs have gone unmet the longest. When a dog stops offering, it has not learned to relax. It has learned that what it needs to give has no place in your life. Music. So let's go back to the beginning. When your dog greets you at the door with that explosion of joy, what is it really asking for? It is not just happy you are home. It is asking, can we regulate together now? Can I touch you? Can I patrol with you? Can I look you in the eyes and know we are still connected? Can you tell me the plan? Can you release me from watch? Can you notice when I need something different? Can you let me give you what I am built to give? Every single greeting is a request for all 7 acts at once. You just did not know the language. Most owners think love is what they give their dog: food, shelter, walks, a warm bed, affection when it is convenient. But here's what almost no one realizes. Love is also what you allow your dog to give you. The touch it initiates, the partnership it seeks, the eye contact it offers, the contributions it needs to make. When you accept your dog's weight as it leans into you, you are not indulging it. You are answering it. When you let it follow you through the house, at night, you are not enabling clinginess. You are including it. When you hold its gaze for those few quiet seconds, you are not anthropomorphizing. You are bonding at a chemical level that exists nowhere else between species. When you say, "I will be back before you leave," you are not talking to yourself. You are giving your dog the one thing it cannot create on its own: predictability. When you say settle, all done, relax, you are not giving a command. You are giving permission to rest. When you notice that your dog no longer jumps the way it used to, no longer roughhouses the way it once loved, you are not watching it age. You are being asked to meet it where it is now. And when you acknowledge the toy it brings, the alert it gives, the position it takes between you and the door, you are not rewarding behavior. You are accepting an offer. This is not about training. This is not about tricks or obedience or making your dog well-behaved. This is about recognizing that your dog has been trying to collaborate with you since the day you brought it home. And most of what it needs from you costs nothing. No money, no extra time, just awareness, just presence, just the willingness to see that when your dog does small things, leans against you, follows you, looks at you, brings you things, it is speaking. And it has been waiting for you to answer. Music. The next time your dog greets you at the door, do not rush past it. Do not tell it to calm down. Let it have that moment. That is not excitement. That is reunion. That is your dog completing a regulation loop it has been running since you left. The next time it rests its head on your leg, do not just pet it and move on. Let it stay. That is not neediness. That is connection. The next time it follows you to check the locks before bed, do not tell it to go lie down. Let it walk with you. That is not anxiety. That is partnership. The next time it looks at you with those soft eyes during a quiet moment, look back. Hold the gaze. That is not random. That is your dog checking the bond you share. The next time your routine changes, say something. I will be back. We are staying home. Bedtime. Your dog is listening for the signal. The next time your dog wakes when you move, say settle. You are releasing it from a job it gave itself. The next time your dog hesitates to do something it used to love, notice. It is not losing interest. It is asking for something different. And the next time your dog brings you that toy, that shoe, that random object, stop. Look at it. Acknowledge it. Thank you. Good job. I see you. Because your dog is not asking you to play. It is asking you to need it. And when you do, when you let your dog be useful, you are giving it the one thing it cannot ask for in words: purpose. Your dog has been speaking this whole time. You just needed to learn how to listen.